Welcome back, everyone. We are with you once again, picking two random teams from baseball history. This is Series 137, and every so often we pick two teams randomly that are really good and create a really good matchup, and that is the case this time around. We're going to actually include a world champion team and a 100-win team, and they aren't the same teams. So two very good teams being drawn here in 137. I think we're going to have a doozy here of a series. So let's introduce our teams and see what you think about it. We're going to introduce first from the late 1990s, actually 1999. It is the Arizona Diamondbacks, led by Buck Showalter. 2 years before they won it all, it was actually Showalter who won 100 games with the Diamondbacks and didn't even retain his job for very long. So interesting in that regards, as Joe Garagiola was the GM, and the team actually lost in the NLDS, disappointing to the Mets that year. But 100 wins speaks for itself, first in the NL West. And if you remember this team, some of these names are going to be very familiar for you. Luis Gonzalez was coming into his own. Look at that average at 336 with a 403 on base, 111 RBIs. But it was Matt Williams who drove in 142. Remember, this is the era of maybe some PEDs and the big bat era here, so the numbers do seem higher, but keep in mind what era we're talking about still. Matt Williams, 35 homers and a 303 average. There's Jay Bell, who hit 38 and drove in 112. He actually led the team in home runs and struck out 132 times. Steve Finley, 34 home runs and 103 RBIs. And there's Tony Womack, a little bit of an outliner in this era. He stole 72 bases, scored 111 runs. Jay Bell at 132 runs. The season by Bell alone is pretty amazing. Finley, a very good center fielder with the glove as well. Travis Lee there at first base. Andy Fox, the shortstop, maybe unheralded. And Damian Miller is the catcher. So the bats, very good for the Diamondbacks, but it was their pitching that was as good as it gets for this team right here. Randy Johnson in his prime, 17-9 with a 248, 12 complete games, 2 shutouts, and 271 innings pitched, 364 strikeouts. The big unit at his best here pretty much, even though he's 35. The team would get Curt Schilling in a year or so and would become dominant, but at this point they were leaning on the likes of Omar Dahl, who was 16-9 with a good season here for him. Andy Benes, 13-12, ERA a little bit on the inflated side. We also have Armando Reynoso and Brian Anderson. Matt Manti, the closer there with 22 saves, but Greg Olson still getting it done at 32 years old, had 14 saves as well. Greg Swindell also in the pen here. The pen showing some age, even Dan Plesac a part of this team, but it's Johnson and the rest, I guess you can say. But anyway, you look at it, a very successful season for the Diamondbacks. Buck Showalter, in my opinion, one of the most underrated managers there has been. Doesn't quite get the credit he deserves, but this D-backs team, very good. Of course, Johnson in a best-of-7 series is a real threat for whoever is up against him. So let's take a look, and world champion team is going to be up against him. It's the 1983 Baltimore Orioles, the World Series champion that beat the Phillies in 5 games. Joe Altobelli led the team to 98 wins. The champion Orioles, a dream season in Baltimore, and a championship that wasn't really expected going into the 83 season, but they got it done, and they were led by 22-year-old Cal Ripken Jr., who hit 318, the Hall of Famer, 371 on base, 102 RBIs, 27 long ones, and Eddie Murray, Steady Eddie, 306, 33 with 111, and those are big numbers for this era of the early 80s. Two very good players, Ken Singleton, 18 and 84. He also hit 276. Rick Dempsey, maybe not the bat, but heart and soul of that pitching staff, a very, very good player as far as his pitch framing and his defense. John Lowenstein there at an outfield corner. He hit 281 with 60 RBIs. You have Al Bunbury in center, able to steal 12 bases, but not much speed on the team. Not that they really needed it. Rich Dower there also at first base. He played in 140 games, a little bit Not the same output from him, but again, it's the Ripken, Murray, Singleton weapons in the lineup that really did the damage, and the star at shortstop, especially Cal Ripken, came into his own here and really made a difference for the championship run. And the Orioles, looking at their staff, they really came through at the end of the year, especially in the postseason. The top three there, Scott McGregor, Storm Davis, and Mike Boddicker, all very good when it mattered most. Boddicker at 277. Davis was just excellent in the postseason at only 21 years old. And El Presidente, Dennis Martinez, also part of this team, even though he struggled. Lost 16 games, the ERA uncharacteristically high for him. He was in his final days in Baltimore, but did get a championship before he left. And even 37-year-old Jim Palmer is part of the numbers here. He started in 11 games as he was winding down his career. I doubt we'll see much of Palmer. Tippy Martinez, the main man out of the pen, along with Sammy Stewart and the big Tim Stoddard, right-handed fireballer. So a good pen for the Orioles. Also, those starters got hot at the right time. And maybe some people will say the championship team wasn't as good as the numbers show. But any way you look at it, they took home the crown and need to be considered in any matchup. But this is going to be a doozy, quite an interesting one. Because they're the world champions, we're going to give the Orioles home field advantage in this series. They will play the first two at Memorial Park. And from there, we will move to the desert for the middle three. So the Orioles, even though they had a worse record than the D-backs, will be the home team. Now, who the favorite is, you can go ahead and pick it from there. But two very good teams any way you slice it. And it should be a series worth definitely keeping an eye on and enjoying. We're looking here at Game 1. The big unit obviously will take the mound for the D-backs against Mike Boddicker. A heck of a matchup here in Game 1 to get this series started. Can the Orioles beat Randy Johnson? And if they can, that's really going to set a tone. Or will the big unit come out and really give his team a boost here in Game 1 on the road? So everything's set to go. Two very good teams facing off in the best of 7. It is the 1999 Arizona Diamondbacks, led by Buck Showalter, against the 1983 world champion Baltimore Orioles. Let's head out now to Baltimore for Game 1 of this very much anticipated series. Injury there for the D-backs. Darren Holmes getting injured. But let's head out to the action. We are live here at Memorial Stadium. And at the plate is Todd Cruz facing Randy Johnson with a man on second base. 2 outs. Let's see if the Orioles can get on the board. There's a ground ball into the hole, a base hit. Runner's going to try to score. Here's the throw to the plate. Not in time, and the Orioles get on the board against Johnson here with an RBI single by Cruz. So 1-0 our score, and now Joe Nolan at the plate against Johnson. And Nolan hits one deep to center field. That one's going to get down there all the way to the wall. Nolan's going to drive in a run here. It is going to be a triple, and 2-0 our score. Baltimore all over the big unit here in the second inning. 2-0 our score. Very early in this one. And still hammering away with a 2-out rally are the Orioles. We got Dan Ford up there with 2 on. And Ford lines 1-2 right. That's all the way to the wall. Another run's going to score. 2 make it are going to score. Throw to the plate's going to be late. Randy Johnson not bringing his A game in this ball game. It is 4-0 now after the 2-run double by Dan Ford. And we move all the way to the 4th now with Boddicker in the lead, and he has not allowed a hit yet. Jay Bell is the hitter. And Bell goes deep to left field. That ball's got the carry it needs to leave the ballpark. Jay Bell, a solo blast, 445 feet to get the D-backs on the board. What a shot by Bell. We'll move to the 6th inning now. Boddicker still on the mound. Luis Gonzalez up there with Finley on first and 1 out. This ball is lined over the head of the second baseman for a single. Runner's going to hold up there at second, so another rally point here for the visitors. Matt Williams, very dangerous, representing the tying run. And Williams goes deep to center. That one's going to be caught out there. A great play by the center fielder. And the runner tags and goes to third. Finley with an outstanding play in center. I'm sorry, Finley's the base runner. So a good play is going to hold the lead here to 4-1. Gal Ripken Jr. up here against Johnson, who's still in the game. We're at the bottom of the seventh with 2 outs. Ripken with a man on. Ripken goes to right field. That's up against the wall and just over the wall. Opposite field home run by Cal Ripken Jr. The 22-year-old takes a Randy Johnson fastball and inside outs it for a home run to right field. It is now 6-1 Baltimore. They're breaking it open here as Matt Williams now is up in the 8th inning for the visitors with 1 out and 2 on. Williams takes ball 4. That's inside. So the bases are going to be loaded here with 1 out as Arizona tries to turn things around. B. Martinez has come in and Rubio Durazo is the hitter with the bases loaded. 1 out here in the 8th inning. Durazo's going to line a single to right field. That's going to get 1 run in. So it's 6-2 as the first baseman lines it into right. And now Bernard Gilkey with the chance. He represents the tying run. Gilkey will go to short. Ripkins gets the first man. Relay to first, not in time. So that'll score a run. 6-3 our score. We'll move to the 9th now. 2 outs here for Steve Finley in the 9th inning. The final chance of the game as Martinez tries to close the door. This ball's lined into left field. The play's going to be made there. Yes, it will. Roenick makes it, and that will do it. The 1983 Baltimore Orioles win here at home, satisfying their home fans and beating Randy Johnson. And the D-backs 6-3. Impressive performance here as Mike Boddicker gets the win. He went into the 8th inning, pitched very well, struck out 11. Johnson pitched into the 7th, but he allowed 6 earned runs with 9 strikeouts. Not good enough for the big unit in this one. J. Bell 2 for 4 for the losing side with a home run. Tippy Martinez was able to get the save. And the Orioles do the job as they score 4 in the 2nd inning. That number would hold up as they win game number 1 in this series and set the momentum in motion as they beat the Diamondback ace. And now look at game 2 as Storm Davis will face Omar Dahl, and the Orioles hope that the young Davis can give him another solid performance as game 2 is on tap. Something about this Orioles team that they play very well in 7-game series. It's just the way they're put together maybe, but they did it again. We saw that Ripken home run also in game 1. That was a big difference. So ready to go now for game 2 of the series, best of 7. Let's see if the Diamondbacks can get their first win before we headed out west. It's the scene of game 2 now in Baltimore between these two teams, with the Orioles having the early edge. Third inning, Damian Miller is the hitter. We got a scoreless game. Storm Davis on the hill. And there's a ground ball. Great play by Ripken. He'll go to first, but the throw gets away from Murray. And Miller's going to hustle into second base here after the error by Cal. He made a nice stop, but the throw just wasn't there. And that didn't work out for the Diamondbacks, however, because they didn't score. 4th inning now. Luis Gonzalez in a scoreless game. And Gonzalez turns on this baseball. He gets it into the corner. Gonzo in the 2nd here with a leadoff double in the 4th inning for the visitors. We'll move to the bottom of the 4th, however. Lowenstein, the hitter, with Murray on first base. Omar Dahl delivers. This ball's hit to second, past the second baseman. Murray's going to head to third. He's going to beat the throw. We got runners on the corners here with 2 outs for the home team. Now Bunbury now has the chance. And Bunbury's going to line it to third. Nice play there by Williams. That'll end the frame and continue the scoreless game. To the fifth we go. Tony Womack at the plate with one out. Womack will go to short, and Ripken bobbles that one. A second error for the shortstop. Cal Ripken having a rough evening here. That's the second error of the game. And now Steve Finley with a big chance. Let's see if Davis can get out of it. He does strike out Finley. Got him there in a bad pitch, a 2-2 slider. And Jay Bell, the dangerous hitter now for Arizona. Now this ball's hit to third, but a nice play there, so they bail Ripken out again. Cruz with a nice play, and that will do it. We'll move to the bottom of the fifth now with Len Cicada, the hitter. Still scoreless here. This one's ripped into left. That'll drop in front of the left fielder, so one out, two on here for Baltimore. See what Dan Ford can do. Ford will go to center field. That should be playable by Finley. It is. 2 down for Ripken now. And Cal will line this one to right. That ball slicing but caught. Womack is there. We're continuing this game at a scoreless pace. Bottom of the seventh, Omar Dahl has been facing Storm Davis pitch by pitch here. And Joe Nolan now with 2 outs here in the seventh. And this ball's drilled in the left field. That'll get down for extra bases. Only the 4th Baltimore hit. It is a double with 2 outs here by Nolan. Cicada the chance now. All delivers. This ball's hit to center field. 0-0. Our score continues in this crucial game. Bottom of the 8th inning. Dan Ford now facing Dan Plesac, who's come in relief. And this is lined to center field. A base hit there. Ford gets on base with nobody out here in the 8th inning. Ripken the hitter against Plesac.
Strike 3.
Ripken looks at strike 3. Plesac got him there. Outside corner. Eddie Murray the hitter. Switch hitter now at the plate from the right side. Murray strikes out. He chased one, and that's a rare strikeout for Eddie Murray. Plesac's looking really sharp. Ronick's up there with the runner on second. 2 outs. This one's hit third. Williams has got it, and that will end the 8th inning. 0-0 our score. A great game here at Memorial Park. Matt Williams now leading off the 9th. Tippy Martinez has come in, the best bullpen man for the Orioles. And this one's lined into center field. A great sliding catch there by Bunbury. Makes it. Great athleticism out there in center field. Here's Bernard Gilkey. Gilkey will strike out with nobody on. We'll move to the bottom of the 9th. Matt Manti, the hitter against John Lowenstein. The Orioles just need to push one across to end this ball game. And there's a good start as Lowenstein's going to get walked. And Al Bunbury's the hitter. Bunbury lines it past the first baseman. That'll get down. Runner moving to third. Here comes the throw. Not in time, so with nobody out, the Orioles have runners on the corners. Manti facing Ken Singleton. Of course, the infield is in. And there's a walk. Kind of pitch around Singleton, and an outstanding opportunity to end this ball game. Joe Nolan has the chance. Base is loaded, nobody out. This is hit second. Play is going to be made at home. Relay to first, not in time, but the play made there. Lowenstein is forced out at the plate, so that's the first out of the inning. And Cicada now the hitter against Greg Olson with 1 down. This one's hit too short. Play made at home again. Relay to first, not in time, so the infield being in, the Orioles just can't get through the hole, and that is the second out. Unbelievably now, Dan Ford at the plate. And the Diamondbacks might get out of this. This is hit to short. Routine play. They do get out of it. So base is loaded, nobody out. Baltimore cannot score. We're in the 10th inning in this scoreless game. Andy Fox now at the plate. All the momentum with the Diamondbacks. They thought for sure they were probably going to lose. But Martinez makes a nice play there. One out for Damian Miller. What a game this has been. Ground ball to bobbled again by Ripken. That's error number 3. Believe it or not, what a night for Cal Ripken. He's just lost his confidence there, the kid. The youngster not playing well at short. And now the pressure on as Morogello comes on against Tony Womack with a 1 out. This is hit past the first baseman. That'll get down there. Runner moving to third. Here's the rifle arm throw, not in time. So we got runners first and third. Only 1 out for Arizona. And Steve Finley, the man who has the chance. He'll line a single to center field. Base hit. Run will get in. The error ends up costing Baltimore. The first run of this game is an RBI single by Steve Finley. And we'll move to the bottom of the 10th now as Greg Olson looks to close it out against Ripken, who's made 3 errors on the day. He strikes out to make matters worse. Tough day for Ripken. And now with 1 out, it's Eddie Murray at the plate. Still just a 1-run game. This one's lined up the middle. Murray comes through with the single, and that'll put the tying run on, and even more importantly, the winning run at the plate. Harry Roenicke, the hitter. Will the Orioles provide some magic here? This is grounded back to the mound. Play at second. Relay to first. In time. Double play. Arizona takes game 2. 1-0 here in 10 innings. What a big win for the Diamondbacks. Just when we thought they were going to drop this ball game, they win it. They shut out Baltimore for 10 straight innings. Omar Dahl and Storm Davis pitched beautifully on both ends. But in the end, in the 10th inning, it all came down to an error by Cal Ripken, who had 3 on the day. And then a clutch base hit, as we bring it up here to just get the exact details, by Steve Finley, scored Damian Miller, and it was the difference in this ball game to tie the series at 1. Lowenstein 2 for 3 for the losing side. Cal Ripken, a very tough day, but he's going to have to shrug it out quickly as the series now is all even, and we are heading to the desert. It's going to be Arizona for our next big game. Scott McGregor against Andy Bennis. Best of 5 series now, but the job has been done as far as the D-backs are concerned. They split in Baltimore, and now we'll have 3 straight at home. Let's see if Baltimore can pick themselves back up. A great couple games to start this series. We expected a good one. We've gotten it. Some great pitching and some drama all the way. Much more to come. Obviously now in the heat of the desert, let's head out to Arizona for Game 3 as the D-backs welcome in the Orioles. And Bennis tries to give his team the series edge against McGregor. Let's head out now to Phoenix and game number 3. So starry night in Arizona. We are ready for action. Joe Nolan at the plate. With the man on here in the 2nd inning. Line drive to center field. That's going to get down. So the bases are loaded here for the visitors in the 2nd inning. Bennis in a jam facing Todd Cruz. And Cruz will lift this one to center field. Way back there, looking up. Grand slam, home run for Todd Cruz. 4-0 Orioles. They get the big blow here in the 2nd inning off Andy Bennis. What a shot by Cruz. 481 feet. Way into the desert sky. 4-zip Orioles in this one. And that will move us all the way to the 9th inning. 5-1. The Orioles have been hanging on here. Durazo up there with 2 outs in the 9th against big Tim Stoddard. And this ball's hit to first unassisted, and a quickly wrapped up game number 3 is going to go to Baltimore. They jump back in front of this series, 2-1 with a 5-1 win here on the road. It was the performance by Scott McGregor, who went 4 innings but was pulled, and the pen went the rest of the way for the winning Orioles. And, of course, Todd Cruz with that grand slam in the 2nd inning. He went 3 for 4 on the day. Andy Bennis with that one mistake ended up going 5 and striking out 7. But in the end, that 2nd inning blow was enough for the Orioles, who hang on here and move on with now a series lead. Looking at the box score really quickly here, you can see Jim Palmer actually pitched an inning for Baltimore, but was pulled early. I don't know if it was an injury issue, but from that point on, it was the Orioles bullpen that did a heck of a job shutting down the D-backs and giving the win to their team. So, first game in Arizona goes to the visitors. The second game now, a crucial one, is set up for Mike Flanagan to face Todd Stottlemyre. See if the Diamondbacks can jump back and even the series, or will the Orioles show that championship fight and take a more commanding lead here on their road. So, looking now forward to game number 4, it is a crucial one, heading out to the desert for all the action. Bottom first inning, 2 outs for Luis Gonzalez against Jim Palmer, who's back in this game. There's a liner to center field. That's going to get down. First inning, to the 3rd. Glenn Sakata, the hitter, against Stottlemyre. Sakata's going to go to left field. That ball's going to be caught. For the score. So it is 2-1 now, our score, as Pat Williams takes the opportunity here to grow in the 3rd. Playmate at second, relay to first, double play there by Baltimore. So we'll move to 5th. Tony Womack facing Don Margiello with Fox on second base. And there's a shot into left center. That'll get to the wall. Run's going to score. Womack's heading for 3rd with his great speed. He'll make it. An RBI triple here. Our score. We'll move to the 6th inning. 4-1 our score now. Durazo at the plate with 2 on, and Martinez at the helm as the pitcher. And this is lifted deep to right field, looking up into deep center. This ball is gone. Durazo, a long home run to right center field to open up this game. 6-1 now. The mighty first baseman rips that ball out of here. It's 8-1 as we move to the 9th. Cal Ripken against Brian Anderson with 2 outs. Ripken will line this one to first. Catch is made there by Durazo, and that will wrap up game number 4. Back and forth this series goes. We're even now at 2 games apiece. After looking so poor in game number 3, the home Diamondbacks look just as good in game number 4. They went 8-1. Todd Stottlemyre gets the win. He went 7 strong, striking out 8. Steve Finley 3 for 4 with an RBI, and Durazo with the long home run, 2 RBIs. He hit the bomb in the 6th inning, it looks like, and that was a big backbreaker. Palmer gets the loss as he had trouble in that 1st inning. Interesting strategy to go with the veteran 2 games in a row. Starter by committee, it seems to be, and that's kind of odd for a team from 1983, but that's what's been happening in this series. And any way you slice it here, it is tied at 2. 2-2 our series, setting things up for the final game in Arizona. There will be a trip back to Baltimore no matter what, as this has now become a best of 3. Mike Boddicker will take the mound against the big unit, who will pitch at home in a big, big game. The Diamondbacks have to like their chances here in game number 5. Series tied at 2. Let's head out to the desert and see if Johnson can rebound from his game 1 struggles and win this one for the D-backs. So a crucial game 5. We're in the bottom of the first. Luis Gonzalez at the dish, trying to give the home team the lead, and Gonzalez will dump this one to the left. Our score. We'll move to the third now. Steve Finley with a man on. This ball's hit hard in the right field. That's going to get up against the wall. Finley heading to third. Runner going to score. It is 2-0 now, Arizona. Getting the job done here at home. Moving to the fifth now. Johnson pitching a one-hitter, and the D-backs looking to add to their lead. Jay Bell, the hitter. Men on the corners, 2 outs. This ball's lifted to left. It's going to go. Home run. Was not expecting that one to leave the yard. It carried, and it does go out. 5-0 our score. Bell with the 3-run home run. It is 6-1 now. We'll move all the way to the 9th inning. Ripken with 2 outs up against Chulnard, who's trying to close it out. Getting some work here, and that ball is hit to center field. On the run to make the play is Finley. Game over. Diamondbacks take this one 6-1 and take the lead in this series 3-2 as we move now back to Baltimore, but it was Randy Johnson who struck out 16 batters. What a performance by the big unit. Probably the highest strikeout rate we have seen. Masterful in the 6-1 win. 16 strikeouts in game number 5. He worked 8 innings, got it done, and had the Orioles completely baffled. Jay Bell with that 3-run home run in the 5th inning, and Andy Fox went 2 for 3 with a double and a run. It was all D-backs. They won't be able to go well with Randy Johnson again in this series, but they'll definitely take that crucial game number 5 win. And now for the champion Orioles, it is all up to them here as we head back to Memorial Stadium now. The D-backs winning the last 2 games, and the Orioles will have to respond. Storm Davis will take the mound, the kid out there against Omar Dahl. It's going to be for all the marbles for the Diamondbacks if they can win this one. Game number 6 from Memorial Stadium. It should be full. It should be exciting. Where is the heart of a champion when you need it? Let's see if the Orioles put it on display here in Game 6 of this best-of-7. Baltimore looking to stay alive. Just ahead, coming up, Game number 6. So here we go. We are live. John Lowenstein, the hitter here in the 2nd inning against Dahl. Lowenstein goes deep to right. That ball's going to leave the yard all the way back into the night. A long home run there. Way down yonder. It is a solo shot. 1-0. The home team jumps out in front here. We'll move to the 3rd. Andy Fox, the hitter, with a man on. Fox will hit this one to second. Play will be made there. Relay to first. Double play for the home team. They get it done here early. We move to the 4th. Steve Finley up there with the man on. It's Tony Womack on the bases. The very, very fast infielder for Arizona. He had 72 steals in the season, so he's something to look out for. But this one's deep to right field. He won't need to steal a base. That ball's out of here. Home run. Finley hits it out again. It is 2-1 now. Arizona flips this game into their favor. We'll move now bottom of the 4th. Dahl has a lead against Lowenstein with a man on second base. This is hit deep to center. Way back there. This one's going to go way out in center field. Home run. Lowenstein drills it. 3-2. The home team goes back up on the 2-run home run. So back and forth we go. Moving to the late innings to the 7th inning. And Stoddard facing Durazo. And Durazo's going to hit it into center field. That'll get down into the gap. Durazo with a 2-out double here in the 7th inning, looking to tie the game if they can, the D-backs. Bernard Gilkey, the hitter. Gilkey goes deep to left, looking up. Would you believe it? Home run, Gilkey. Arizona takes the lead again. A 2-run shot by Gilkey with 2 outs here in the 7th inning. What a dramatic blow off of Tim Stoddard, who's shaking his head on the mound. He lets up a crucial home run. And now Greg Olson comes on. It's going to be up to the Arizona pen to try to knock this one down. And here's a ground ball. That's going to be at second. Play will be made there. So the 7th inning is over. 4-3 our ball game. Bottom of the 8th here. Cal Ripken facing Olson. 3-2 pitch. This is lifted to left field, but not that deep. Coming on over to make the play. Gonzalez got it. Roenick, the hitter. There's a walk. So a big walk there. Roenick is the tying run now on the Axe. Lowenstein, who's had a good game up at the plate. He takes ball 4, so with 2 outs, they're 2 on. 8th inning. We got a 4-3 game here in Game 6. The Orioles need the win. Al Bumry has a chance here against Matt Manti in a huge spot. Strike 3, Manti gets him. Humongous strikeout there. And the chance passes for the Orioles. We move to the 9th. Durazo facing Tippy Martinez. And Durazo will line a hit into left field. So it's going to be with 1 out, 2 men on as Arizona looks to possibly add the insurance. They can't do it. And we are in the bottom of the 9th. Ken Singleton up against Matt Manti. It's the last hope here for the Orioles. They need to get a run. But there's a strikeout. Manti continuing to look sharp. Joe Nolan, the hitter here, with a 1 out. Nolan goes down the line and right, so he does his job. Here's the play at second. He risks it. Great hustle. He makes it into second base with only 1 out. So the drama continuing to grow here. Len Sakata with 1 out. Sakata will go to center field, but there to make the play is Finley. So there's 2 outs. The ball was hit hard, but no luck there. And it's up to Dan Ford here. Try to tie this game up. Ford will lift this one to left, however, coming in hard to make the play. Yes, it is made. DeLucci makes it, and celebrations here in Baltimore, but not for the home team. It is Arizona, who has knocked off the champions of 1983. The 1999 Diamondbacks are the winners in 6 games. They win Game 6 4-3 and win 3 games in a row to take this series. Lowenstein with 2 home runs in the game for the home team. Not enough. Storm Davis couldn't pitch well enough for the win. Omar Dahl also not involved in the decision. It was Swindell that gets the win, and Tim Stoddard allowed the long home run that cost his team the game, and Matt Manti was excellent in relief. It was Bernard Gilkey's home run that was the difference in the 7th inning off of Stoddard to the opposite field. The big blow in this one, and the home team just couldn't recover. It isn't every day we see a world championship team fall, and we did see the Orioles fall, albeit to a very good team in the D-backs, a team like we mentioned before that actually won more games than they did. And they did it here in 6. Very exciting series, very enjoyable. Looking at the D-backs here really quick, you can see Luis Gonzalez hitting .348, but the rest of the bats were not that impressive. It was really the pitching for the D-backs, as expected, that got it done. Swindell, Plesac, great out of the pen. Olson and Manti, all 4 of those arms allowed no runs. What a performance by the D-backs pen. Getting to the starters, you can see here also Omar Dahl, very, very good, a .213, and Randy Johnson, he also got the job done. 25 strikeouts, even if the ERA was a little bit higher because he had a rough Game 1, but boy, did he come back in Game 5 and pitch well. For the losing Orioles, Lowenstein had a great series with .400 batting average, but only drove in 3. Todd Cruz there with 5 RBIs, and Cal Ripken only hit .080, but even worse, his 3 errors in Game number 2 cost his team a series to forget for the kid. Cal Ripken not at his best, and Eddie Murray maybe even worse. 1 for 22 in the series. What a rough outing for the two stars, and you can see why the Orioles struggled against the mighty Arizona pitching. Pitching-wise for the Birds, they did okay. Flanagan and Davis did not struggle. They pitched quite well, but it just wasn't meant to be for them in this series. Looking at the stars and the MVPs, it looks like they're going to go with Luis Gonzalez for the MVP of the series. A tough one to pick. I might have gone with one of the pitching arms, but just out of curiosity, how Olsen pitched in this series, or Manti in the end. Looking at it here, Manti in 2 games did get a save. So go ahead and make your pick for the MVP. The game picked Luis Gonzalez. We'll stick with that for now. But anyway, you're going to look at this. It is Arizona who's celebrating here. They win the series. Buck Showalter gets his team ready to play, and play they did. They win it in 6 over the Orioles in Series 137. 2 very, very good teams. This was a great series. And in the end, we repeat, the 1999 Arizona Diamondbacks knock off the world champion 1983 Baltimore Orioles. And I guess you can say a mini upset. But the Orioles definitely deserved, as they got hot to close out this series. That's all for now. That's a wrap. Hope you're enjoying all of the action we're presenting to you with the Park Baseball 20. We'll be back with you very, very shortly for another series. This one had it all for you. Hope you're still with us. Hope you're enjoying the presentations. We'll talk to you soon.